Hi, everybody. My name is Emily Sisneros, founder and CEO of Cannabis Services. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the first thing you should do if you are looking to start a cannabis business. This is also applicable for those who have started their business already, are in the middle of getting their license to operate, or working on the local level to get approvals, or for those who have even opened their doors and may be years into running their cannabis business. I cannot overstate the importance of this first step. Because if you don't do it when you should, which is before you even start the business, you need to do it at some point when you're running the business so that you can optimize a potential future exit. Now, you may not have any vision of exiting in the near future. That's okay, because an exit can also mean your freedom as an owner from the business. So if you are looking to one day not be needed in the business, this episode is also for you. Also, thank you, Onyx brand cannabis, for the amazing hoodie. I love it so much. I think this one is my husband's. I can't tell. I pinned it in the back, so I steal a lot of his stuff. We both have a bunch of Onyx merch, so it's super comfortable and I love it. So thank you. So let's jump right in and keep it brief because it really doesn't have to be super complicated. If you are looking to start a business or you have already started the business, if you have not defined what your outcome is and quantified it, then you have to pause and take this step. It doesn't mean you need to step away from your business. Keep it running, keep it going. But what this will do is it will help you course correct some things you might be doing in your business right now and create a better outcome. You have to have a North Star in your business or you're going to be aimless and wandering. When you have the North Star, you can have the roadmap that shows you where you need to walk on a day-to-day basis. What I have found in this industry is most business owners are spending their days, day in and day out, putting out fires or handling the next crisis or just trying to manage. And then suddenly they look up, they're years into business ownership, they are burned out and they want to get rid of this business. And unfortunately, having a business license in the cannabis space is not enough to make millions and millions of dollars. It's not that time anymore. Back in the day, it used to be super lucrative to have that paper license in hand. It was worth so much money. It was literally your retirement on a piece of paper. That's not how it is anymore. You have to run it like a real business owner. So do this exercise, and I believe it will change your life. It will change your business, and it will change your entire trajectory of everything. So how do we start? 1, take the time to identify what outcomes you want in your life. As an owner of the business, you started this business at some point because you had a dream. And maybe that dream was short-sighted enough that it was just, hey, I want to start a cannabis business. I think it's an amazing industry. I want to be one of the first movers in here. And that's awesome. If you have started your business, you hit that goal. So you need to define the next one. And the next one should be, what is the outcome you want in your life? Where do you want to be in 10 years, 20 years, at retirement? Do you want to retire? Or do you want to keep this business forever, for as long as you live, pass down a thriving business to your kids? In the meantime, you just want to build this business so that you don't have to be managing the day-to-day. You can actually get this business to be cash flow optimized and you're not needed. It is just a revenue generating machine. It can be done. My husband and I do it in our businesses. We are free from the day-to-day of our businesses, and we get to just jump in when we want because it's fun, or we choose to just go on vacation for a week or a month or whatever we want. That's what's so great about this life, and you can have it even in the cannabis industry. So again, first step, identify what you want in life and really get detailed with it. Identify what kind of charities you want to give to. Do you have charities in mind that you just wish you could just cut a check to without having to worry about it? Your church, your family members you want to support in a higher level way, be able to take your parents on vacation. No cost is too much, right? First class flights, all inclusive resort, give them something they may have never had, something that lights your spark. And maybe it requires you to go back to what you originally wanted when you first started the business before you got inundated with the things that might be putting out your spark. This will help you reignite that spark. So step 1 is so important. You cannot skip any of these steps in this exercise because it won't work if you do. It all depends on each other. It's an equation, right? So the first step, define those outcomes, get detailed with it, take that time. It could take a few hours. So dial it in, figure out what you want. And then as a second step that cannot be skipped, quantify it. Because if you want to take your parents on a trip to Europe or send them to an all-inclusive resort, you can put a general amount of money that would cost. If you want to go on vacation for 1 month every year, you can quantify that. You can. And that's what's amazing. Now, you don't have to go so detailed that you're like, okay, how much is a rental car going to be? How much are the meals going to be? But you could put a dollar amount on it and start to identify, okay, year over year, I'm going to start to be making this much money in order to fund this lifestyle, right? So, number one, detail out what you want in your life and get crazy with it. Like, allow yourself the excitement of opening up and figuring it out. I love that. Number two, quantify it, put a dollar amount to it, take the time to put a dollar amount to it. If you want a certain type of car, that can be quantified. If you want a certain type of house, it's not selfish to want to live in an area that's nice, right? You're allowed to live in a house that's nice. You're allowed to have luxuries. That's okay. You're allowed to give as much as you want to nonprofits on top of it. So you can quantify all of that. And number two is just that, quantify it. Number three is the next step, and it's just as important. Once you quantify what you want in your life, you can figure out how much you need your business to create. You can quantify how much revenue your business needs to generate in order to fund your lifestyle, right? So once you figure out as step three how much money your business needs to create, that also includes what your top line revenue is, how much expenses you have currently, and what you need to do to minimize expenses, maximize revenue. This also, it starts to trickle into how do you get a customer to come back again and again? How do you get a customer to talk about you so you can bring in more business? How do you minimize the cost it takes to bring in a new customer by having that customer tell people about you? Because it costs way less to bring in people that way and new business in that way than to put money behind bringing in every single customer that walks in your door. So you can start to identify how much money you'll make in your business. Now, if you have not started a business yet, then you're still in the dream phase. This might be a little bit more high level where you say, at least I'm going to need this many millions of dollars in my business every single year to fund whatever I want to do in my life and my outcomes, my goals for my family, my kids, everything like that. And at the simplest level, that's what it is. That's that next step. If you are currently operating a business, you have an advantage of getting even more detailed, because this is where it's going to start to expose the cracks in your foundation. It's also going to hold you accountable. And I will say this as we close out. Most business owners won't go through this exercise because they don't want to be held accountable. Because once you start to quantify how much money your business needs to make, you can then back into how much money you need to make every quarter, every month, every week, every day to meet your yearly revenue goal. It also requires you to make changes so that your expenses go down, your employee satisfaction score goes up, your customer happiness goes up. All of these things play an integral role with each other, and you're going to have a microscope to all of that to figure out what you need to do to correct these things to get towards your outcome. It is a challenging thing for many people because it requires accountability. Most people won't do this because they don't want to be accountable to having to make changes in the way they are running their business, because they believe the chaos that got them to where they are now will be enough to sustain them for forever. And I can tell you now that is not the case, because one day you may look up and say, I'm ready to sell, and you will never get the value that you think for your business. Some people might trip into some luck. Most people in this day and age are going to have to show to a buyer that their business is running well. And if you have a number identified for your business, you can take the steps to build out the core assets you need to build out to make your business run well. We fix businesses like this all the time, inside and outside of the cannabis space, and I can guarantee you that nobody takes this step first, which is why they end up having to call us, because they haven't done this exercise. I didn't do this exercise when I first started my business, and it created so much pain and cost and time and money and energy because I was going in circles. I was just trying to survive. I was trying to make money and then fulfill on those obligations and then somehow randomly, chaotically hire staff members and then figure out how to randomly train them and realize they didn't have the support they needed. I'm maybe hiring even the wrong people. All of these things are chaotic and fractured, and it does not make for good business. And your clients can tell. So don't do what I did and wait on doing this exercise. Once I did this exercise, my business changed, my life changed. And I do this in every business now. Every single business, we go through this exercise. And in fact, we do what's called a big board. You can check out our other YouTube channel, Built to Exit. My husband, Jason Cisneros, he talks a lot about building a businesses to exit. We have a woman-owned business page, Professional Females. We talk a lot about, changing side hustles into full-time jobs for women. All of the principles are the same in that you can build your business to an exit. You have to go through these fundamental steps. And then once you're starting to grow in that way, you can actually have your team brought into a big board and your management team is all in lockstep towards the same outcome. This step, though, is the first step towards identifying that North Star so that everything can start to march towards that. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it adds value. And of course, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to stay tuned, you can get an alert, I believe, if we drop a new episode, which we drop new episodes pretty much every single week. You can follow us along on pretty much every social media channel. Check us out at www.cannabisservices.com. You can actually schedule a free consult with one of our management team members. Could be me, could be our GM, could be our director of operations, depending on who's available at that time. We have a nice little calendar on our website. You can schedule that at the most convenient time for you, or simply email us at info@cannabisservices.com. I wish you well on your journey, and of course, reach out if you have any questions in the future. Thank you.